This is the Louie T Network. Hey, either you're outside or you're
in the lab room.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It's showtime.
Draft Zone.
The Atlanta Falcons are now on the clock. And the Lord says you got to rise up. That one's for you, Stu.
Dan Quinn's my guy. Dan Quinn is a high energy players coach that listens and quotes Tupac. Nuff said. Dan Quinn is also a defensive-minded head coach like the last Falcons head man, Mike Smith. Unlike Smith, though, Quinn is going to get this defense to play. Number one, because he wants to. Number two, because he has to. Matt Ryan isn't what he used to be. Hence, Quinn is going to have to ratchet it up defensively out of necessity. Most don't know it, but the key to the Seattle Seahawks defense is Michael Bennett. Quinn is about to change the fortunes of this defense by getting the Falcons version of Bennett here.
With the 17th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Atlanta Falcons select Jonathan Bullard, defensive tackle, Florida. The Indianapolis Colts are now on the clock.
Fact: Ryan Grigson sucks at this game. Fact: because Ryan Grigson sucks at the draft, the Colts as an organization suck at the draft. Fact: Andrew Luck needs to be protected better. Opinion: the value at tackle is low at this point in the draft with the top four already coming off the board. Opinion: the Colts need a Walmart brand pick here. Great value. Fact: the Colts' three best pass rushers are all at or on the wrong side of 30. Opinion: the Colts should invest in a pass rusher now while the value still exists.
With the 18th pick of the 2016 NFL Draft, the Indianapolis Colts select Kevin Dodd, defensive end, Clemson. The Buffalo Bills are now on the clock.
Rex, Ashley, Ryan, what in the hell did you just do? The Bills went from one of the most ferocious defenses in the league under defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz 2 seasons ago to a doormat that NFL offenses wiped their feet on en route to the end zone. Bills fans were enraged last year, and they had every right to be. For years, the offense was holding this team back, and when they finally solved that issue, the defense sprang a massive leak, drowning the Bills' chances to make the postseason. To quote one of my favorite movies, Rex, do you realize what you've done? Quick, toss this draft card over your right shoulder with this name on it to get things going defensively back on track.
With the 19th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Buffalo Bills select Darren Lee, linebacker, the Ohio State University. The New York Jets are now on the clock.
Every year there's a player in the first round that you just look at and say to yourself, or at least I say to myself, I can't speak for you guys, you know I don't like to do that. This player is going here if he's still on the board because he just looks the part of a fill-in-the-blank player. Is it me, or does Reggie Ragland look like the perfect Jet? He strikes me as a David Harris type. Not going to wow you with any one thing that he does, but he's going to be an underrated and often underappreciated integral part of your defense for years to come. No more Demario Davis. Ragland should slide right in and be a general in training day one.
With the 20th selection in the 2016 NFL Draft, the New York Jets select Reggie Ragland, linebacker, Alabama. The Washington Redskins are now on the clock. Hail to the Redskins.
Redskins fans are in organizational bliss right now. After years of being led astray by sheer incompetence this time of the year, the Redskins have a draft savant running the show in Scott McCloughan. As a fan myself, I won't even try to hide the fact that I'm extremely comfortable with Scotty Mack this time of the year, to the point where I won't even question his motives or his moves, because he has to have some kind of grand scheme behind it all, or he wouldn't do it. Now I know how Packers and Bengals and Ravens and Vikings and Seahawks and even Steelers fans feel, and it is freaking awesome. So at 21, the Skins could go in a multitude of ways, including trading back, but there's a special
Football player
that fits a need sitting right there for the Skins, even if they decide to go back for seconds of pot roast.
With the 21st pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Washington Redskins select Andrew Billings, defensive tackle, Baylor. The Houston Texans are now on the clock.
After making the biggest splash and arguably the most impactful signing of the offseason by wrestling Brock Osweiler away from the Denver Broncos, the Texans are in a very unique position. Super Bowl caliber defense, question mark offense. Lamar Miller comes in and fills a huge void at running back, the aforementioned Osweiler at quarterback. Nuke is a stud at wideout, but Jalen Strong doesn't look so as a legit number 2 complement to the brilliance of DeAndre Hopkins. Thus, at 22, the Texans get to break the seal on the wide receiver position in this draft, but not with the prospect that most think.
With the 22nd selection in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Houston Texans select Corey Coleman, wide receiver, Baylor. The Minnesota Vikings are now on the clock. Skol Vikings!
The entire Vikings war room is doing that whole 3H thing again. Yep, you guessed it. Handshakes, high fives, and hugs. They just dodged a huge bullet, and now they're going to get the guy they coveted all along. It's time for the run on wide receivers that we always get in the first round. Credit to Rick Spielman for holding his water. He kills it this time of the year, every single year. And just like in first rounds of the past, he did it again, getting the Vikings a weapon they so desperately needed.
With the 23rd selection in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Minnesota Vikings select Laquan Treadwell, wide receiver, Ole Miss. The Cincinnati Bengals are now on the clock. Who dey?
Question: who does this draft thing better than the Cincinnati Bengals? Answer: Jim, can you help me out with this one, please?
nobody.
Boy, the Bengals' dominance over the draft is akin to the current Patriots' dominance over the league during the B&B winning factory era. The Bengals simply don't miss this time of the year, which makes the lack of postseason success that much more disheartening. There's a good news, bad news aspect to the Bengals this offseason. I'll feed you your veggies first. Offensive coordinator Hugh Jackson, who turned Andy Dalton into an elite quarterback, is off to Cleveland. And the Bengals lost two pretty good pieces of their wide receiving core in Marvin Jones and Mike Check 1212. Guess who? Mohamed Sanu in free agency. Now for the dessert, the part you've all been waiting for. The Bengals are on the cusp after last year's dominant regular season and playoff debacle versus the Steelers This is a confident group with a chance to do what they do best, replenish and stockpile elite talent via the draft. It's AJ Green is about to get a difference-making wide receiver for help on the outside. AFC North, this ain't what you want.
With the 24th selection in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Cincinnati Bengals select Josh Doctson, wide receiver, Texas Christian. The Pittsburgh Steelers are now on the clock.
The Pittsburgh Steelers are the poster child for resiliency. They always seem to persevere in the face of adversity. But resiliency isn't reserved for the ill-prepared. The Steelers always seem to be ready when something goes down, whether it's L. Bell going down for the year and Old Man Williams stepping in, or it's Big Ben going down and Landry Jones and Mike Vick keeping the ship afloat. Or the newest and latest setback for the Steelers, with Big Ten Martavis Bryant being suspended for the entire year. Sammy Coates looks ready, locked, and stocked to go. But that secondary, though? Not so much. Let's start fixing that problem, not now, but like right now.
With the 25th selection in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Pittsburgh Steelers select William Jackson III, cornerback, Houston. The Seattle Seahawks are now on the clock. Go, Hawks!
Oh man, this is such a Seattle Seahawks move right here. I mean classic Seahawks. Uber talented defensive player who just needs the right environment to flourish is sitting right there while everyone else is running scared in the opposite direction. The Seahawks are sprinting towards their guy. You want to know how the Seahawks stay good defensively? By making moves like this. They weigh the risks and the rewards pay off if they can get the risk to buy in. I'll just say this. The rest of the league just up. They're going to regret letting this happen. All right, Petey. Schneider, go ahead. Turn the card in. He's all yours.
With the 26th selection in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Seattle Seahawks select Robert Nkemdiche, defensive tackle, Ole Miss. The Green Bay Packers are now on the clock. Go, Pack, go! Go, Pack, go!
Another offseason and another beautifully crafted silent masterpiece by Ted Thompson and company. Packers fans can get a little agitated at Ted Thompson and company for their one-hit shutouts during free agency, but they pitched another gem, going out and getting Jared Cook Jr. and calling it a day in free agency. It's business as usual, and nobody does it better than Ted and his group up in Green Bay. One abnormal thing did occur during this offseason for the Packers, though. Nose tackle B.J. Raji retiring or preferably taking a sabbatical of sorts from the NFL. Whether or not he was going to be retained in Green Bay, hey, nobody really knows. But either way, the position needs to be addressed. There are many guys that can fill this void for the Pack at 27, but one in particular tickles Ted Square's fancy more than the others, which is why he'll be chosen here.
With the 27th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Green Bay Packers select Vernon Butler, defensive tackle, Louisiana Tech. The Kansas City Chiefs are now on the clock.
Andy Reid and John Dorsey tricked me last year. You sly bastards. Touche. I was sure the Kansas City Chiefs were going to go offensive line in the first round last year, instead opting to wait till the second round to unearth the gem that ended up being Mitch Morse. In bypassing O-line in the first round last draft, the Chiefs were able to select the best defensive rookie in the league last season in the Kansas City Thief, Marcus Peters. Hell, why not go back to the well? It was so nice, why not try it twice? I could do this all day, okay? Losing Sean Smith to a divisional rival makes this decision that much more plausible.
With the 28th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Kansas City Chiefs select Mackenzie Alexander, cornerback, Clemson. The Arizona Cardinals are now on the clock. See red, be red.
Gather round and listen up closely. It's time for the Louie T life lesson of the day. We all have flaws. As a wise woman once told me, we're all flawed, beautiful creatures. The trick in life is masking those flaws as best as one can without compromising one's integrity or identity of self. Pretty deep, right? Yeah, I know. I can get that way sometimes. Anyway, nobody, and I mean nobody, has hid their lack of true pass rush better than the Arizona Cardinals. When Dwight Freeney has to come back from the dead to lead your team in sacks, you have a deficiency. Todd Bowles hit it quite aggressively by blitzing. James Betcher tried to do the same, but the Honey Badgers' injury exposed the Cards' lack of consistent pressure. Getting Chandler Jones helps, but either a cornerback or another pass rusher is the answer here. I always go for pressure first. That's my philosophy, and I think the Cards are on board as well.
With the 29th selection in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Arizona Cardinals select Noah Spence, defensive end, Eastern Kentucky. The Carolina Panthers are now on the clock. Keep pounding.
Look, I'm all for groupthink when it applies. But I love it even more when somebody decides to step outside of the box and think for themselves. And the Carolina Panthers do it their way. And I'm starting to come around to that. While everyone else is slinging the football all around the field, the Panthers are pounding teams into oblivion. While the league is looking to better their team via offense, the Panthers continue to draft linebackers. And while most teams look to add picks to their draft haul, the Panthers and GM Dave Gettleman are fine with 5 selections every single year. Hey, it works for them. So, when the Panthers make this selection at 30, I won't even blink because it's how they roll. And as long as the dice are hot, I'm cool with the Panthers rolling it their way with a guy who hasn't been mentioned in the first round very often.
With the 30th pick in the 2016 NFL Draft, the Carolina Panthers select Sua Cravens, defensive back, Southern California. The Super Bowl defending champion Denver Broncos are now on the clock.
Damn, homie. Just last year you were the man, homie. What the up happened to you? Let me answer that. You won the Super Bowl. It comes with the territory every single year. Super Bowl winners have their rosters ravaged by free agency. Players looking to cash in while their stock is as high as it might ever be is the theme each and every offseason. Broncos still have a formidable defense despite losing some key pieces, but offensively, no respectable option at quarterback exists on the roster unless you count Dirty Chaz. I crack myself up. The Broncos need to start at square one, and there will be a chance to do so by making this selection, one that no one thought possible just a month ago.
With the 31st and final pick of the first round, the Super Bowl defending champion Denver Broncos select Paxton Lynch, quarterback, Memphis. Thank you for joining me on the 2016 Louie T Network Mock Draft. God bless and good night.
Draft Zone.
There's plenty more where that came from. While you're here, subscribe to the channel. If you want more Louie T, be sure to follow me on Twitter at In the Lab Room, or you can like the Facebook page at In the Lab Room. That's In the Lab Room on Facebook and at In the Lab Room on Twitter. Don't forget, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already done so.